Tonight on NewsVision, culture on campus. It has more than 200,000 pieces of Cuban history.
My mother always inculcated into me that, your Cuban culture will always be with you, no matter what.
We're heading inside the Richter Library for a look at its Cuban heritage collection. Plus, finding their fins. How the Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Science is teaching a new generation about the importance of helping the environment. And from the water to the beach, it's the week you've been waiting for. Spring break is here.
I like coming to Miami because it's a lot of things to do.
We're live on Miami Beach with a look at what's going on and a check at your spring break forecast. NewsVision starts right now.
It's the week you've been waiting for. Spring break is just one day away, and while many UM students are heading elsewhere, thousands of other students are coming to South Florida. And I definitely know I'm excited. Good evening, I'm Erica Warstad.
And I'm Tyler Walsh. Thank you for joining us. Between spring break and Miami Music Week, it's definitely going to be a busy couple of weeks around South Florida.
That's definitely true, and especially on Miami Beach. Let's get right out to UMTV's Dave Downey. He's there with a look at what's going on tonight. Dave?
Well, Tyler, probably not quite as much fun as some of the others are having. We're here at Ocean Drive in South Beach, pretty popular destination here. This first week of spring break getting underway here, hustling and bustling down here. Spring break already started for some. Some actually flew home today or even yesterday. I knew a couple friends who did that. But for most of them, they're flying home tomorrow or Saturday. I'm actually staying here the whole week. So it's going to be nice weather down here for the next week or so. I'm honestly surprised that because you actually go home for this, when you're in the good weather down here. I don't really understand why you don't stay, but, home see your family, have some fun down there. Have a good time. So here we take a live look here at Ocean Drive. This is looking live here. Beautiful scene right now. Look at that sunset out in the background too. So get some guys out here. How we doing? Right over there as well. It's a beautiful scene right now out here. Miami Beach is obviously a very popular destination. A lot of action is here. Most of the college kids actually already go up to Fort Lauderdale. They also like to go to Mexico. This is a bit of a different scene. It's a different good vibe out here as well. Personally, I'll be going to Key Biscayne a lot next week or so. Temperatures actually tumbled good to weather here from 89 Monday to 79 Tuesday, 17-degree drop, 1 degree off the record on Monday. No matter what the temperature does, the UV index stays the same. Sunscreen, water, group up for safety, anything you can do to keep you healthy and safe out there this weekend. Jackson's got our first look at our spring week forecast. Jackson, back to you.
Thanks, Dave. It looks like a lot of fun out there. What's not fun is this low pressure system that's going to develop across the nation's heartland as millions flock to their spring break destinations this weekend. We're going to watch this low pressure develop and move to the north and east, bringing heavy snow across the northern tier of the U.S. and even to parts of the northeast. And behind that cold front is going to be cold air. And ahead of the cold front is going to be heavy rain and especially the risk for severe weather. Anywhere in that red is where there's going to be the risk for strong and damaging winds, even a few tornadoes, although I don't think there's going to be as many tornadoes as this past weekend's severe weather outbreak. Now, guys, where are you guys headed for spring break?
Well, I'm going back to Boston on Wednesday. It's going to be really cold up there.
Yeah, I'm going up to North Carolina, so it looks like I'm going to be bundling up with my grandma in North Carolina for spring break.
Adorable.
But thank you so much, Jackson. A University of Miami student is in handcuffs tonight after accusations of using stolen credit card numbers to pay for tuition. International student Zhao Zhang has been charged with felony counts of grant theft and identity theft. One woman called the university in October after Zhang used her credit card to pay more than $6,000 in tuition. Zhang has attempted to use stolen credit card information for tuition payments on 4 occasions, and was rejected by banks. But he succeeded in using a stolen card on an additional occasion. Zhang was arrested by UMPD earlier today and is being held on $15,000 bond.
In political news, Senator Marco Rubio has helped introduce new legislation to keep students informed about educational costs. It's called the Student Right to Know Before You Go Act. The legislation will provide critical information like graduation rates, debt levels, and projected graduate earnings to help students and policymakers understand the financial implications of higher education. Rubio says the hope is that the bill will make students more aware of the decisions before taking out large loans.
And a Miami journalist is back in Florida after being detained, then deported from Venezuela. Local 10 says reporter Cody Weddle went missing yesterday afternoon. That's when they say Venezuelan agents took him from his apartment in Caracas. He was released later on in the evening. He says the agents were accusing him of espionage, treason, and taking military artifacts. His arrest had his mother very worried.
I love you. Gonna give him a big hug and just telling me better not ever do this to me again.
Weddle says he was not hurt at all during the interrogation, but he was blindfolded and left without food or water for several hours.
Here at we are about 100 miles from Cuba, and the city has a huge Cuban-American population.
Yes, so it's no surprise that the University of Miami Library has an entire collection dedicated to Cuban literature and artifacts.
Reporter Celine White attended an event there that celebrated the founding women of the Cuban Heritage Collection. Celine, how was it?
Thanks, guys. We are told to live in the present, but sometimes it is necessary to take a moment to celebrate and share the story of our past. And the Library hosted an event to honor the 5 women who decided to do just that, celebrate their history. Back in 1998, 5 Cuban women decided they wanted to preserve and shed light on their heritage. So the women began to collect documents, maps, photographs, artwork, and artifacts. And together they founded the Cuban Heritage Collection, also known as the CHC, at the University of Miami.
Así que por eso nosotros, por años,
we dedicated ourselves to reunite everything that the Cuban Americans, or the Cubans before us, before they came Cuban American, everything that they published, newspapers, announcements, concerts, all those small pieces of papers that appear to be valueless. All those things we gather because that is our story in this country.
Todos nos lo dedicamos a recoger, porque eso es la historia nuestra en este país.
The CHC now contains over 200,000 books, journals, maps, pieces of artwork, and objects related to the Cuban story that date from the colonial times to the present. Among them are journals written during the 1900s, a single shoe from Celia Cruz, and the original first document that argued for the human rights of the Taíno indigenous people of Cuba. Cuban-American Carlos Alamilla says the event organized by the Cuban Heritage Collection gave him a chance to tell his own story.
I was born in Cuba. I came here as an 11-year-old orphan through Operation Pedro Pan. I grew up in orphanage camps and foster homes in Chicago.
According to National Geographic, from 1960 to 1962, Operation Peter Pan brought 14,000 Cuban children to the United States. The children were forced to leave everything behind: their parents, their friends, their homes. But they clung to one thing: their Cuban identity.
My mother always inculcated into me that, your Cuban culture will always be with you, no matter what, how many years you live here in the U.S.
I hope to come here and just gather data and information and hopefully spread all that knowledge that's here in the Cuban Heritage Collection to all the members of Federación de Estudiantes Cubanos and of course all the students at the University of Miami.
The Cuban Heritage Collection is open to the public from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday and is located on the second floor of the Otto G. Richter Library on the Coral Gables University of Miami campus. I am Celine White, reporting.
UM's football team is best known for their good work on the field, but one former Hurricane has become a leader in his community for doing what he is doing off the field.
That's right, and UMTV reporter Brianna Ross went to Overtown to see what the former Hurricane is doing to better his community.
During his time as a Miami Hurricane, former defensive end Demetrius Jackson dreamed of playing professional football. But after graduating in 2017, Demetrius decided to exchange his dream of playing football for helping youth achieve theirs.
My coach instilled that in us to be a helping hand, lend a hand to help the community. So over the course of my career, I've started being impactful on the youth in my community and other communities.
Born and bred in the Overtown neighborhood near downtown Miami, Demetrius teaches and coaches at Booker T. Washington High School, the same high school he attended.
He always been that bright kid that always willing to help, that's always willing to do a little more extra from school to whatever he had doing in the community.
Demetrius strives to instill the same values into his players that were instilled in him as a student athlete at Booker T, all while working towards his master's degree at UM.
Football is a game of life, so everything I'm teaching them, I've learned in college and it's going to rub off on them.
He also inspires his players every day.
Almost quit. He kept me in control. He told me size don't mean nothing, keep working, I'm going to accomplish my goal.
He pushes me on the field and off the field. At classroom, he makes sure I'm great.
Now, not only does Demetrius make a difference for young football players on the field, his larger mission is to make an impact in his community off the field. During his time as a Hurricane, Demetrius was no stranger to service. From handing out food to Overtown residents for Thanksgiving to starting a scholarship fund, Demetrius has always made an impact in his community. But he is now looking to make an impact in a bigger way, as state representative of his home district, District 109.
The same things are happening in the community. Kids are losing their lives to the streets. You know, homes are being ripped away from people. You know, no one's standing up for them. So why not me?
His campaign entitled All In 2020 officially kicks off March 17th. For UMTV, I'm Brianna Ross.
Wow, very inspiring story. That's a lot of work for one person. I mean, coaching kids and running for office, I don't know how one person can do so much.
I know, it's fantastic, especially athletes. They do so much on the field, and it's just really inspiring to see that they're able to use that time off of the field.
Absolutely. Very inspiring. And coming up after the break, making weight, how one university program is helping kids stay informed about key environmental issues and encouraging them to take part of a larger movement. Next, NewsVision will be right back.
Green hat, red hat, oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants, oops.
We left these two phones unattended in the wellness center and set up hidden cameras to see what would happen. It only took 13 seconds. If only it were this easy to spot a thief. Remember to lock before you lift.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
When thinking spring break, most imagined golden beaches and blue water. But last year, the members of one UM club spent their break in the cold winter of Iceland and brought back some memories to share. Tuesday night, the UM Astronomy Club presented their trip to see the Northern Lights, where walking attendees could walk through the landscapes of Iceland.
Sort of doing this presentation kind of brought back all the memories, which was super cool to relive because it was definitely the best trip I've ever been on so far. So it was a great experience to be able to share that with other people.
The photos will remain up in the Creative Commons of the Richter Library until the end of the semester.
And some University of Miami students got a free smoothie on the lakeside patio on Tuesday, but they had to answer an important question first. The event was called Smoothies and Succulents, and it was put on by Hurricane Productions and UM Student Government. The goal of the event was to educate the student body about what they can do in the face of climate change. Students also received free t-shirts, potted plants, and of course the smoothies. And that important question they had to answer was about their future.
Especially for a place like Miami where we're at ground zero elevation, the sea levels are going to rise. It's not a matter of how much, it's a matter of when. And so we really want to be leaders on the foreground and make sure that our educated students are environmental stewards.
Students also received tips on how to live more eco-friendly lives on campus.
While many people are spending their Fridays out enjoying the weather, one group of students chose to devote their Friday to a different cause.
Yep, and they're teaching kids about science and our oceans. UMTV's Sean McAday joins us live now. Hey Sean, how is Ocean Kids looking to make a difference?
Thanks, guys. They're looking to make a pretty big difference. On Friday, students from our Marine School hosted an event hoping to inspire the next generation of scientists and ocean protectors. The annual event is called Ocean Kids, and this year I had the chance to check it out. This is Ocean Kids, an annual event thrown by the University of Miami that brings elementary school kids from every corner of Southeast Florida to learn and get excited about our oceans. Whether it's marine mammal anatomy, feeling what it's like to breathe underwater when scuba diving, or even being the wind that pushes water ashore during a hurricane. And what about that horseshoe crab? Well, some folks from the Miami Sea Aquarium came to talk to the kids about the importance of these critters.
Hey, your iron levels or your blood iron or something like that. That's because our blood is based on iron. Their blood is based on copper, which is what you find in pennies. That's what pennies are made of.
Miami's very own Dr. Jill Richardson had a few inspiring words to share with the kids before the event.
You are all born to do incredible things, and we are going to need your help when it comes to saving our oceans. So stay in school, go out there and make some waves, and know that we will always be here cheering you on. So before I bring up the
Kids also got to observe how Earth's rotation affects our oceans. They even got to check out the university's state-of-the-art wave tank, which can simulate winds of a Category 5 hurricane. Now, there was a lot to be learned, but this eager student wanted to tell TV what she had learned about disposable plastic in our environment.
You cannot use plastic all the time. You can use like something that you can always keep with you. Everybody who's watching, make sure you guys help our ecosystem by not using plastic water bottles and using plastic bags.
Now, after the event, kids got a free lunch before heading over to the Miami Sea Aquarium for the rest of the afternoon. Not a bad way to spend your Friday.
Yeah, definitely not, Sean. I mean, I love kids and I love the ocean, so this event seemed really awesome, teaching kids about the ocean.
Oh yeah, I actually volunteered there last year, and it's just amazing seeing the kids' minds and eyes light up in the face of nature and science. And speaking of science, let's take it to our UMTV meteorologist, Jackson Dill. Jackson, how's the weather?
Well, I'm glad the weather was beautiful for that event. It's been a beautiful day out there. Right now, this evening, it's pretty nice and dry out there. There's a current temperature of 69 degrees. Dew point 52 is making it feel dry out there as the sun sets and the clouds settle in. Taking a live look at the future at the radar and satellite right now, there's nothing to see out there just because it's clear, the skies are clear, it's dry out there as well. Now, taking a look at temperatures these past 7 days, it's been warming up, and we peaked at a high of 90 degrees on Monday, and ever since a cold front moved through Tuesday night, the temperatures have been dropping back down to the mid-70s, which is where we should be for this time of the year. Here's a cool stat from Brian McNulty from the Rosenstiel School, who has reported that there's been 23 days with highs of at least 85 degrees so far this winter season. This past week has really just added to that number. And also check out this. We just had one day with a low below 50 degrees. Now, spring break begins this weekend, so I know some of you will be flocking to the beaches in Miami. Highs will be in the low to mid 80s for the whole weekend as we see high pressure dominate for the most part, but we're going to see these winds moving onshore, so that may bring a few spy showers every once in a while, but for the most part, it's going to be nice and dry out there with partly cloudy skies, stray shower at times, but it's going to be a very beautiful weekend as we go and kick off spring break here in Miami. Now, taking a look at tonight's forecast, expect mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will drop down to the upper 70s, or the upper 60s, pardon me, which is much warmer than it's been the past couple mornings. Winds will be east at 10 to 15 miles per hour As we take a look at the forecast tomorrow, there will be a few more clouds out there, but tan weather will still be good. It's going to be warm out there as well with a high temperature of 78 degrees. Expect sun and clouds with easterly winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, so it will be a bit gustier out there. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Expect a blend of sun and clouds through the weekend with high temperatures rising. It's the low to mid 80s. Remember to turn your clocks ahead 1 hour because of daylight saving time beginning on Sunday. As we get into the start of next week, it'll be still in the low to mid 80s with generally sunny skies. And then we're going to see a cold front possibly approach as we get into the Wednesday time period, so there will be that chance for a shower, Tyler and Erica.
Well, with all that warmer weather, I wish that I was here instead of in North Carolina, but we do get to live here all year round, so I guess you win some, you lose some.
I know, it's absolutely, and the beaches, nothing beats them down here. It's just so warm and
absolutely
amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Next on NewsVision, the Hurricanes football team makes a change to its season.
Plus, Canes baseball hits a new home run with their new management. How one student's passion for sports management has helped find him his UM family and make an impact on a historic season for the Canes. Coming up.
And don't forget to join the taping of our late-night comedy show Off the Wire tonight in Studio C. The show starts at 8 o'clock, but just now, stay with us. NewsVision will be back in a couple minutes.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Grace Smith with Sports. New tonight, we're now 1 week closer to Hurricanes football's season opener. Just hours ago, UM announced the Hurricanes-Gators matchup had been moved from August 31st to August 24th. They say the change was made to help mark the 150th anniversary of college football. The game will air at 7 p.m. on ESPN. Taking a turn now, the women's basketball team has so much to celebrate despite dropping their final regular season game against NC State Sunday afternoon. The team enters the ACC tournament quarterfinals ranked number 13 by the NCAA selection committee and with two standout players recognized by the ACC. Amessi Hoff and Beatrice Montpremier are now part of the first team All-ACC. Last time the Hurricanes had two first-team All-ACC selections was in 2012. Montpremier leads the ACC with 23 double-doubles, and Hoff is ranked second in conference with an average of 2.1 blocks per game. Hoff is also the first ever athlete to be honored as the ACC's most improved player. The fourth-seeded Canes will play the fifth-seeded Syracuse tomorrow afternoon in Greensboro. Men's basketball dominates in their final regular season home game, pulling out a win 76-63 over Pitt Tuesday night. The game also marked the team's senior night, where they celebrated three graduating players who left their mark on the evening. Zach Johnson, Ibuka Izundu, and Anthony Lawrence II led the team with a combined 53 points. Lawrence hit the court in his 127th appearance and scored a career-high 27 points. Izundu also had a career-high amount of rebounds in ACC play. The Canes will finish their regular season in Blacksburg, Virginia tomorrow night against Virginia Tech. Canes baseball continues to make an impression with new head coach Gino DiMari and powerhouse performances from athletes across the field. But sometimes those without a uniform can make an impact. UMTV reporter Josh White has a story.
The Hurricanes baseball team is off to a historic start under first-year head coach Gino DiMari. While the Hurricanes are much improved under DiMari on the field, Away from the spotlight, student manager Jake Yardeni has made his impact felt among the organization.
I think he does a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so he's always helping out with the team and helping out with the program and doing whatever he's asked. He's one of us. He's just one of the guys, and we get along with him really well, and he's just a great guy and loves the game, so we love him too.
He's very easy to get along with, you know. Everybody loves him. He fits right in, you know. Everyone that works here, you know, knows, you know, from day one, you know, this is a family. I mean, he's the type of kid, you know, that I would consider, you know, maybe like a brother to me as well. He's a good, you know, hard-working kid.
Yardeni arrives at the ballpark about 5 hours before first pitch, even before the players get to the field. He grabs bats, buckets of baseballs for the dugout, sets up pitching machines for batting practice, and assists the coaching staff throughout the game.
My favorite part is probably sitting in the dugout with all the guys watching the game. It's just fun to be in that type of environment.
When the game ends, Yardeni is one of the last people to leave the facility. Just as he did setting everything up, Yardeni will make sure everything is returned just the way he found it to start the marathon the very next day. Yet despite the long days at the light, Yardeni wouldn't want it any other way.
You ever leave baseball? Because it's all I am. I mean, I eat, sleep, and breathe baseball. That's the sport where I could see myself working 12 to 15 hours a day and really enjoying it. I enjoy coming out to the field every day and just the smell, the sights, and just the sounds of baseball. My whole life has been just encompassing baseball.
Well, Grace, not all heroes wear capes. Apparently some wear baseball manager polos.
True. Very true.
Definitely.
You know, it's really great to see the students getting involved, and it's really been a great season for all Canes sports.
I know, especially the Lady Canes. They're doing awesome right now. I'm really excited to see how the team shows.
Absolutely. Well, we have a lot more for you right after this.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Thank you for staying with NewsVision. We want to wish a special thank you to one man who has helped hundreds of School of Communication students at the university advance their production skills. And let's not forget getting us out of tough spots with equipment as well. After 5 years of helping students on campus and being a part of the UMTV family, we want to wish Thomas Rodriguez farewell. We wish you all the best in your next venture.
And finally, tonight, a cuteness alert. We have a very important update on UMTV's youngest fans. If you were here last week, you saw our cute little duck family we have outside Studio B. There was a lack of sightings earlier this week, but tonight we're happy to report that all 23 ducklings and their hardworking mama are back. We saw them outside the Witten Learning Center today, and it looks like they're heading to class. I know I'd love to see them in my class in the coming days, but we'll have to see.
That'll definitely provide a lot of entertainment and get me through those boring classes.
Yeah.
I have to say, it's a very spectacular story.
Oh my God.
I really did just come up with that. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Spring break is right around the corner, so we will be out next week, but join us on the 21st for more news.
But first, be sure to join us for Off the Wire, UMTV. It's all happening in Studio C right next door in a few moments. We hope to see you there. Have a great night.